going on, guys? My name is Wade with Tech Daily, and in this video, we're going to be unboxing the brand new iPhone 12 Pro Max. This is the biggest and most expensive iPhone in the lineup this year, and in fact, it's actually the largest iPhone Apple has ever released. There are quite a few other things that separate this device from the rest, so let's go ahead and just get right into it, and I'll go over everything you need to know about this new phone. First things first, in regards to the unboxing experience, there's not really anything that's different with this device compared to the other iPhone 12s we've already unboxed, but I'll go ahead and just quickly show off what all comes inside the package. Sliding off the lid, the first thing we see is the iPhone itself, of course, and right away you can really tell just how large of a device this thing is. Obviously, I got mine in this nice gold color, but it also comes in silver, graphite, and the new Pacific blue color this year as well. We'll set it to the side for just a second, and going a little deeper inside the box, you'll find not much else at all. Just a mini-sized collection of paperwork and a single Apple sticker, as well as a Lightning to USB-C cable. And as you guys probably know already, Apple has stopped shipping the power brick and headphones now to help reduce waste. So everything from the box size to what all comes inside now is super minimal. With all that stuff out of the way, here is the iPhone 12 Pro Max once again. And like I said a second ago, you really feel just how big this phone is. This is a 6.7 inch device. Last year's iPhone 11 Pro Max came in at 6.5 inches. So not only are we getting a little bit more screen real estate in general, like I said at the start, this is also just the largest iPhone Apple has ever released. And if you're curious, here is how this 6.7 inch Pro Max stacks up against the regular iPhone 12 Pro, which comes in at 6.1 inches. Now, this smaller iPhone 12 Pro is also actually bigger than last year's iPhone 11 Pro as well. So both of these new iPhone 12 Pro phones get a decent bump up in screen size over last year's devices. But with that Pro Max in particular, I don't really think I can overstate just how large of a phone it is. Not only is it quite a bit taller, but it's significantly wider as well compared to the regular 12 Pro. It's not any thicker, but it's heavier for sure, and certainly a lot to handle. For me, I do generally like big phones, but one-handed use on this thing is a bit of a stretch, to say the least. You're definitely going to be doing some hand position shifting as you attempt to reach all four corners of the screen in areas like the notification center, control center, and app switcher. And honestly, even typing one-handed is kind of tough. I'm much more comfortable using both thumbs. With all that being said though, I think one of the biggest reasons you'd even consider this phone really is because of that huge screen. And this is great when you're watching content, for example. It's really pretty nice to look at. The 12 Pro Max offers Apple's Super Retina XDR OLED display with HDR10 support. It's bold, it's super bright, very colorful, and it comes in at a resolution of 2778 by 1284, packing in around 458 pixels per inch. That's not a particularly high resolution for a screen this size, but I still think it looks plenty sharp, and anything you want to watch is going to look great. Now, I do want to point out that aside from the size, the display technology on this phone, the Super Retina XDR panel, that's actually going to be the same on all of the other iPhone 12s, from the mini to the regular 12 to the smaller 12 Pro. So with this phone, you don't get anything better, just much, much bigger. And by the way, all these new iPhone 12s this year have what Apple is calling their ceramic shield coating across the front glass, and this is supposed to make everything a bit stronger in the event of a drop. In theory, it should be a little tougher than last year. The rest of the phone, of course, is very familiar. It's still an iPhone after all, and you can see a lot of the design cues on this iPhone 12 are what we saw last year. The front still has that large notch across the top for the speaker, front camera, and all the Face ID sensors, so no change there. And the body and frame are a combination of all glass and stainless steel. The back is once again a frosted finish, similar to what we had last year, and it looks super nice and certainly feels premium. The camera module also has a polished glass accent, and pretty much everything else you see is is the polished stainless steel. Now, honestly, I do think this gold color looks really nice, but just keep in mind that almost immediately it will get covered in fingerprints. The stainless steel gets smudged up pretty easily, but if you can look past that, this is absolutely the high-end, premium looking smartphone that you would expect coming from Apple. Taking a look around, everything else is where you'd expect. On the left side, you'll find the silent switch, volume buttons, and the SIM card tray towards the bottom. On the right is the power button, and below that, there's also a new sort of slit or little detail here. This is just a 5G antenna, and this is for iPhones here in the US. It's kind of hard to tell on camera also, but it's not like gray or black in color. It is the same sort of gold color as the other antennas around the phone, and it isn't quite as obvious in person as it looks here. Down below, there's the lightning port, speaker, and microphone grills. This phone does have a stereo speaker setup, of course, with the other speaker inside the earpiece up top. And around back, the 12 Pro Max rocks a triple lens camera setup paired with that new LiDAR scanner. Just one last thing to note about the housing. Of course, this 12 Pro Max also has that hidden magnetic circular ring underneath the back glass, and this is going to be used with all those MagSafe accessories that Apple now sells for these phones, like the cases and the wallet add-on and the MagSafe charger. Inside, the new iPhone 12 Pro Max obviously packs Apple's latest and greatest chipset, the A14 Bionic. But just like with that OLED display, this new chipset also comes in all the new iPhone 12s, from the mini to the regular 12 to the 12 Pro. So no matter which phone you choose this year, you are getting the fastest and most up-to-date processor. And performance-wise, of course, this new device is the fastest and most powerful iPhone Apple has ever made. Now, with this 12 Pro Max, you aren't necessarily paying for better specs, but one big thing you do get over the rest of the lineup is a much bigger battery. This phone has a 3,687 milliamp battery inside, which is almost 33% larger than the regular 12 Pro. Now, obviously, that big battery still needs to power the huge display, but generally speaking, you should be getting the longest battery life on this phone under normal use compared to any other iPhone 12 this year. Really, the only other thing you are getting in going with the 12 Pro Max is a slightly better camera setup. This phone has 3 lenses around back, the standard shooter, the ultra wide, and a telephoto lens. Now, when compared to the 12 mini and regular iPhone 12, for example, those phones miss the telephoto lens, and when stacked up against the smaller 12 Pro, that phone gets almost the same 3 lens setup, but a less capable telephoto lens. So for example, this Pro Max has 5 times optical zoom versus just 4 times on the regular 12 Pro, and a little further digital zoom. Furthermore, the telephoto lens itself can potentially let in way more light, which could yield better low light shots. And with video, the 12 Pro Max should also offer even better stabilization than the rest of the lineup, with its dual optical image stabilization. Of course, you also have things like Dolby Vision HDR support at 60 FPS, and the rest of the great features and improvements that are on the rest of the iPhone 12s, like night mode with all the lenses, even the selfie camera, and nighttime portrait shots too. All in all, it'll be interesting to see how much better the 12 Pro Max's camera setup actually is in comparison. So just to sum things up here, in going with the 12 Pro Max, you of course are getting a massive display, potentially longer battery life with its much bigger size, and a minor upgrade to some camera capabilities. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys later.